To build muscle, you need to up your calories. Eat big to get big, right? I'm pretty sure anyone trying to pack on some size has heard this saying before. And though it is based on some truth, it isn't necessarily the only route. Now, I'm referring to people who are not shredded. If you are shredded, then you likely need a calorie surplus to put on muscle. If you aren't shredded though, and by shredded I mean sub 10% body fat, then you don't need this. I've covered this before. There are 5 things you need to build muscle. PRUs. Protein, rest, energy, water, and stimulus. Protein is necessary because it makes up 20% of our muscle. Rest is necessary because it's the time needed for recovery for our muscles to restore. Water is water, and that makes up over 70% of our muscle. And stimulus is the training needed to start the growth. Now, if you got all these things on point, minus the stimulus, i.e. the training, you wouldn't build muscle at all. This is just to show how important the training really is. You get it all your macros, sleep 10 hours a day, eat enough calories to feed an entire nation, and drink a whole bunch of water, and your muscles still won't grow bigger. I mean, look at anybody who is extremely overweight and who might be lazy, right? They get a bunch of rest, they might drink a whole bunch of liquid, eat a whole bunch of calories, get a decent amount of protein in, but still they build no muscle. You get it? The stimulus is the most important. Stop stressing all the other stuff. If you aren't training right or enough, you won't build muscle. Increasing your calories with a bad work ethic or a bad training plan won't change that. Along with that, taking a whole bunch of protein shakes won't put muscle on your frame either if you're not training right. I don't know why people stress the minor things and forget about the most important things for muscle growth. Now, I do know that calories are important and protein is very important. Our muscle is around 20% protein after all. However, people overemphasize this and forget about the stimulus. On top of that, as I stated earlier, energy is calories and body fat is stored calories. So the excess energy your body may need to build muscle doesn't need to come from a calorie surplus. It can simply come from the excess body fat that you already have. That's why we stored fat. It's simply energy for later use. That's also how you can build muscle and burn fat at the same time. You can eat enough calories, consume enough protein, and then use the calories your body has already stored for energy to build muscle. It's that simple. So stop wasting your time focusing too much on eating. Although it is important, it is only 1/5 of what you need to build muscle. The most important is your training. Then comes the other stuff. So put the majority of the emphasis on your training. Everything else does fall into place. As I said, water is extremely important. People sleep on water as well. Protein is extremely important. Making sure that you sleep enough is extremely important. And then the energy falls into place. However, the energy does not need to be so high. By energy, as I said, I'm referring to calories, all right? Now, if you're really lean, and by lean I mean close to, if not shredded, then you do need to eat in a calorie surplus. Now, I was in this position as well. At a young age, let's say when I started to build muscle around like 14 years old, I had to eat a whole bunch of food to put muscle onto my body. That's because I was really lean, sub 10% body fat. When you don't have a lot of body fat, there's not a lot of energy in your body to build muscle with. So I was eating anything in sight. I used to go to the shop with one of my bros at the time. We used to buy biscuits and we used to look around at the label trying to figure out which biscuits had the most calories because we were trying to build muscle, right? If you do want to know what I ate at the time, I used to eat a whole bunch of noodles and eggs, right? But that's because of how lean I was. If I wasn't that lean, I wouldn't have had to do that. If you aren't that lean, stop messing around with a calorie surplus. You know, a lot of the time people mess around with a calorie surplus, but they don't realize that they're simply putting on fat. They think it's muscle until they go on a cut. Trust me, it feels good though. It's a nice excuse to overeat for a while. And it makes you feel good because while you're putting on a whole bunch of fat, you believe that you're getting jacked at the same time. But sorry to burst your bubble, that isn't true. Most people never get out of the bulk and others just don't build muscle at all because they weren't focusing on the training.
But bodybuilders bulk.
Yeah, that's true. Bodybuilders do bulk, but most pro bodybuilders are also at an extremely low and unhealthy body fat percentage. So they actually need to bulk up and gain fat just to have regular energy levels again, let alone to build muscle. And plus, when pro bodybuilders bulk, they are still lean in comparison to your average person. Simply put, a bodybuilder's bulk is an average person's cut. So don't get it twisted. I'm not saying this is the case for every single professional bodybuilder, but this is common. As I said throughout this video, the training is the most important. If you want a training plan based off my personal training knowledge and experience, check out my Cali Starter, Calisthenics, and Gravity Chamber workout plans. I'll leave the link in the description box below. That being said, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. It's B4Flex, and I'm out.
B4Flex.